And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Talk Talk Live here on IG and YouTube. Happy Family Day to you all. The first long weekend of 2023 in this country of Canada. If you celebrate it here in Canada. If not, happy Monday to all those around the world watching Talk Talk Live. Let me just angle this camera down just that little bit. That's a bit better. There we go. That's fantastic. Great. Yes, so indeed, happy Monday / happy Family Day to you all. I hope you guys got to celebrate, had spent some time with your family. It's not a celebration day. It's pretty much a day off. It's a day to spend with family and to get in touch with that family. So I hope you've had that opportunity to do so today. I have had my opportunity to do that today as well. Not only my in-laws, but also my family as well. So I hope you had a great day with them. And yes, I shout out to my grandmother, my 95-year-old grandmother. Yes, I love you and will always be there for you, my dear, as you have been for me and my dad as well. Yes, of course, my dad. Don't have the hairline without dad. Let me just say that. So, again, saved me a lot on, Propecia and all those other hair installments, to be fair, but he's been a great dad. He has been that high-value man that who has truly inspired me. So, I love you, Dad. As always, we are back here on Talk Talk Live on IG, YouTube. That's IG and that's YouTube, right? Okay, there you go. So thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. But tonight I'm just gonna give it. I've been having this in the chamber. Had this episode in the chamber for a little while now, and I decided to why not release it tonight. It is a long weekend night, and it is a Monday. It's not as if everybody's going out like on Sunday night. If you were so inclined to go out, I wasn't inclined to go out myself this weekend. Stayed at home this weekend for some reason. Anyways, I'm usually not a homebody on long weekends, but this weekend was one of those weekends. So again, we're just gonna let everybody file in. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live tonight, live on IG and YouTube tonight, and we're gonna get to it. We're gonna talk about a special lady to a lot of people around the world, especially to us black folk. And that is the former First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama, our high-value woman of the week. This is a very celebrated lady. This is a lady that needs no introduction. She still is highly favored in many circles and many areas around the world. And she's quite venerable. She's a former lawyer. And as I said, former First Lady, and now is a socialite writing books. She would we call the First Lady of the United States? I would agree so. But recently, Michelle has issued a few words in regards to modern day women, and with those words, she is maybe let me say this, checked a few high-value women as with her being the matriarch of their lives for the most part, being their hero really. And again, this is it brings to further view the fact that she is a high-value woman altogether with. So we're just gonna go into her background and deal with the fact why she is considered a high-value woman in my book, and is considered a high-value woman of the week. So we're going to get into it right now. I'm going to go back to my browser. Here she is in life and in living color. There she is. I'm just going to go to my browser and there she is. Michelle Obama. The wonderful, the capable, the fantastic, the intelligent, the wise, simply put, eloquent and supremely confident woman that is Michelle Obama. There she is, and we're just going to go into her bio just a little bit. Again, she was born in Chicago. She's a South Side Chicago girl, and again, she from 2009 to 2017 was the wife of President Barack Obama. She's the first African American woman to serve in the position, and so eloquently show. As I said, raised in the South Side of Chicago. Obama's a graduate of Princeton. She's a Princeton grad, also Harvard Law grad as well. In her early legal career, she worked in a law firm, Sidley Austin, where she met Barack. and I believe when he articled there, she was his mentor when Barack began articling at Sidley Austin, and she worked in nonprofits as an association with the dean of Student Services at University of Chicago, as well as the vice president of Community and External Affairs at University of Chicago Medical Center. But anyway, that's her most recent past, anyways. And again, born in 1964, so she would be, well, not good to tell a woman's age. She would be near 60 now. She's about 59 this year. Yeah, about 59, but that's fine. That's nowhere. I mean, black don't crack. She's a beautiful lady when it comes down to it. And again, she was hey, here's the thing. She was born into a two-parent household. Lo and behold, she was born into a two-parent household to Fraser Robinson, a city plan employee and Democratic precinct captain, and Marion Shields Robinson, a secretary at Spiegel's catalog store. Her mother was a full-time homemaker until Michelle entered high school. Usually, the best ladies come from, again, two-parent households. Just saying, not to say that single-parent households don't produce great women. They do, but chances are there's a greater chance of getting a great woman from a two-parent household, and that's what most guys should be looking for these days. Ladies who come from two-parent households. We can move on. We can move on down the line. Again, she has her lineage can be traced to the Civil War. She's a South Side girl. In terms of her education, again, she's a Princeton grad. She majored in sociology and minored in African American studies, and then graduating cum laude, Bachelor of Arts in '85, and completed a '99 senior thesis on Princeton educated blacks and the black community under the supervision of Walter Wallace. So again, a very, very studious lady, and again, she moved on to from Princeton to Harvard Law, where she got her Juris Doctorate. Now, Juris Doctorate is basically a law degree, people. So she got her Juris Doctorate from Harvard Law, and that usually writes your ticket in those United States to any firm that you wish and desire to work for. If you have a name under Harvard Law, those are usually the first candidates to be snapped up for early associatehood at any law firm. And by the time she applied to Harvard Law, her confidence had increased. Well, she had a inferiority complex, but I really don't think so. But at Harvard, that's where she was hiring. She was in demonstrations advocating for hiring professors who were from minority groups. Again, worked at the Harvard Legal Aid Bureau. She was the first lady with a postgrad degree after two immediate predecessors, Hillary Clinton and Laura Bush, two first ladies again. And she later said her education gave her opportunities beyond what she ever imagined. Again, so as he said, before meeting Barack, Michelle had told her mother she intended to focus solely on her career. Let me read that again. She was once a modern woman. She said before meeting Obama, Michelle had told her mother she intended to focus solely on her career. The couple's first date was to Spike Lee's "Do the Right Thing" in 1989. Barack had said the couple had opposites attract scenario in their interests with each other, since Michelle had stability in her two-parent household, while he was adventurous, and he's from a single-parent household. Even though his dad was somewhat in his life, but he had grown apart. So the one in the single-parent household was indeed Barack, as we all know. I mean, his dad was pretty much grew up in Africa, and his mother from Kansas grew up in Hawaii, in Indonesia, and in other places around the world as being more or less a missionary and an advocate of social justice. And again, they met in '89. They married in, I think, 1990, 1991, and It's just here. Okay, here we go. I had caught that. And the Obamas married in, I believe in 1992. They married October 3rd, 1992, and after suffering a miscarriage, Michelle underwent in vitro fertilization to conceive their daughters Malia and Sasha, known as Sasha, born in 2001. So again, they started out in the family way, two-parent household, giving birth to two kids. Again, the tradition continues. She lived in a two-parent household. Barack was the one who was in a single-parent home, although Barack was exception, to be fair, right? And as I said, it doesn't mean that you live in a single-parent household. It doesn't mean that you can't be exceptional yourself. So Barack Obama is one of those exceptional individuals that I'm talking about. But again, with that grounding with Michelle being in a two-parent household, she wanted to continue that tradition, and Barack wanted to carry out that tradition. So again, as I said, her high valuehood started at home. It started at home. That's where she learned, she was fit, feminine, friendly, of course, but that's where she learned to be cooperative with her man, because there was a father in the house. And she was, and again, at this time, she was said to be a career woman until she married Barack, but she knew that time was ticking, and she was when she gave birth to, she was born in 1964. It was 1992. She was 28 when she married, and she was 34 when gave birth to the first child, and the second child, 2001. She was do the math, 37. So 31, 37. Yes. No, 30, 34, 37, sorry. My bad, it's three years apart. So she was 34, 37, so she was in that range where, she had to be wary of at-risk pregnancy, and she had to go through in vitro fertilization, but, again, she got through it, she did it, 2 wonderful children, and they got on with life, they got on with things. That's why, that's why most men agree that, okay, even if you're in that, as Kevin would say, R.I.P. Godfather would say, that you're in that danger zone, it doesn't write you off for being, a mother or a wife. And clearly, she had a career in mind, but she knew for a fact that at the age of 33, 34, she wanted to have those kids. She wanted to get them out. And therefore, Malia and Sasha were born. So again, she was in an at-risk, she was near an at-risk phase, but she got them out, and she, so long lives her high value womanhood. And again, she was a deeply devout woman. As moving on, she was raised in, she was a Methodist, joined the Trinity United Church of Christ, and with Barack when they became a family, and her career with Barack in her career, she worked at Sidley Austin, and then she continues to hold her. Here's the thing: she continues to hold her law license, but is no longer needs it for her work. But she kept on to it on a voluntary and active status since 1993. So she's still an active lawyer. Despite the fact that she went to the White House, despite the fact that she has all this notoriety, praise, and celebrity, she still has a law degree. So again, she still values her career, and that's all well and good. Nothing stops a high value woman from keeping their career current. Never stop doing that. But however, she prioritized her family first, which is something that a lot of modern women should take heed of, and realize that even though the clock is ticking, it may urgently make you react and act in a way that will get you on the road towards building a family. And that's what she did. She had her kids at 34 and 37, and on she went. So again, very, very fantastic indeed. Oh, that was a bit of a... Okay, there you go. So in 1998, Obama served as the Associate Dean for the Student Services at the University of Chicago. She still kept her career current, where she developed the university's Community Service Center, So again, she continued to hold. Yes, she did. She did. I remember she held a lot of board positions. She continued to hold the University of Chicago Hospital's position during the primary campaign in 2028, but cut back to part-time in order to spend time with her daughters. So she was on the board of the University of Chicago. She was on the board of the University of Chicago Hospitals, and as I said, she was well paid by the University of Chicago. She also served as a salary board member for Treehouse Foods. That's the one thing that lawyers have as a advantage, really, is that they not only can work as lawyers, but also can serve on boards because they are, especially if they're, knowledgeable about the corporate process. So, and I believe she was a corporate lawyer, to be fair, because Sidley Austin is a corporate law firm in Chicago. And that allows her entry into many companies' boardrooms as a board member. There you go. So, but then, as we know, 2008 hit. She cut back on her board member duty. She cut back on her law firm, and the rest, as they say, is history. She became. She followed Barack on his 2008 campaign. She was, if you saw many of her biography, she was not very, I mean, Barack had a political career, starting in, Chicago, city politics, and then went to the state legislature in Illinois, and then from there went on to being a presidential candidate and eventually president. So, but again, Barack started his, was a grassroots campaigner for, different rights groups within the city. So he was but again, he ran in 2008, as we all know. He won, a two-time president, one of the great modern presidents in recent history, 2008, 2012. And Lady Obama was, Lady Obama was the First Lady of the United States during that time. And in that time, she was considered one of the more fascinating persons of the year. She was, she also, let's just get her accomplishments out there. She began the Let's Move campaign. Now, this is one campaign I was totally behind. She was very much, she wanted to start an organic movement by instructing White House kitchens to buy organic food. She had pushed for healthy eating and healthy exercise habits as well. So she was really putting for a fitter America, which I'm totally for because, again, the United States is one of the most obese nations on record, and she tried to reverse that trend through her first ladyhood, and Lord knows she did her best and did a fantastic job at that. And again, she pushed for LGBTQ rights. She was very much a socialite and first lady on different scenes, not only in England but also around the world. Especially her trip to Africa, which was very well heralded. And again, she was a fantastic campaigner for Barack, noted for her inspirational speeches on the campaign trail and also at the Democratic National Conventions. They go low, we go high speech ringing in many a person's ear, as we know. So again, Michelle, a leader, as I said, she is a style icon in many a magazine, including Essence, Vanity Fair. She's been heralded throughout the ages, and is now in partner. She is still in post presidency. She's still working at Partnership for a Healthy America. Michelle Obama. She was at the ESPY Awards there. She's still a board member on many a different corporation, and also helped on the campaign trail for Joe Biden on his way to the presidency as well. So, and she still has a very, very, very vivacious public life. So, Michelle Obama, or Michelle Robinson, has lived a very, very, cultured life. A very, very, she came from humble means to being one of the more powerful women in the world. And again, she has held true to her husband and held true to her kids while still pushing for, her career and for her, and for the advocacy of women in many different fields and departments. And also in the fitness department as well. But that's a little short synopsis of Michelle Obama herself. But let's get to it. What makes... I've given you a few, hints there as to what... Oh, wait a second. In 2021, she was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. There you go. So this is a lady who now has a podcast. She now has a podcast. She's released her book, Becoming, in 2018, which is a bestseller. She was an executive producer and presenter on a children's cooking show, Waffles and Mochi. In 2001, she is a noted writer, and it was announced on that Obama's next book, The Light We Carry, Overcoming Uncertain Times, will be published on November 22. I think that was already released. So she is a very, very busy lady, a very, very venerable woman. Outstanding individual, and let's face it, she's one of the more recognized women within the last 25 years. Within the last 25 years, she's one of the more recognized women in the world as we speak. Michelle Obama, and one to be highly praised and favored. Indeed, she's done it all. She's gone through it all, and has come through with flying colors, as both a wife, mother, and career woman. So, but what makes her a high-value woman? What makes her the high-value woman of the week? Two things, really. Number one, as I've given away, she has always put her family first. Even though she has... at first, tried to advocate for her career before her marriage, before she met Barack. And then when she met Barack, went on to bigger and better things with him as a wife, and played stood beside him as his wife, not only through his practice, but also through his political career and his presidency eventually, but also for her advocacy for family. I did say family. But her advocacy that women today need to take cues from her generation and generations previous on how to be a woman and how to be that woman that is respected and valued by men and who are eventually married by men. So let's go to that one quote that has got all the tongues wagging, really. And it was a recent quote that came back in, let me see, it was late last year, I believe. It was on the NPR podcast. It was about 3 months ago, so late last year. And it was her quote about marriage not being 50-50. Marriage not being 50-50. Now, in that, she leans on the fact that there are roles within a marriage, and there's a time to, step forward and take a managerial role of that marriage, and there's times you have to step back and play a role in order to further a marriage and further a family. And Michelle Michelle mentioned that in this one quote here. It's a short quote. But a lot of feminists, a lot of modern women, a lot of, womanist, feminist believers believed that Michelle was out of line in her comments. She said that women should not be in the background. They should be in the foreground at all times, when Michelle actually shut that down. And I think not only that, I think she stood for family, and I think she stood for traditional women in the sense that. Oh wow, did I put this on? Oh wow, did I? Ow! Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay, that was the wrong thing. So let me connect these. All right. Luckily, I got that just before I had to mention that on air. Okay. There we go. I forgot to connect my microphones. We got the microphones back in. So let me make sure that this is on as well. So Michelle. Battery 20%. There we go. So Michelle had, she had some very, very, I wouldn't say controversial. I would say, reasonable remarks that everybody took way out of context. Especially modern women, especially feminists, especially womanists, uh, especially I would say city girls, really, believing that they shouldn't be in the background, they should be in the foreground in any relationship, and people were indeed out of line. But let's hear the comments here in full context here on Talk Talk Live. Thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by Dun Talk, DUNTLK.com. Like, subscribe, and we're gonna move forward here.
People, I think, and you've written about this, they've idealized your marriage. They sit there and look at it, but you have always been very clear-eyed, very honest that marriage takes work. It takes daily work, and that it is not always glamorous, and you have had some very unique strains, but there's also the strains that any of us who are in a relationship or married face, whether it be whose career goes first or who takes on the childcare labor. Is there one piece of advice that you would give for people who are thinking about how you put in that work for a partnership that's lasted that long?
Yeah, it's not really one piece of advice. It's to me, it's a philosophy. It's an outlook. In this age of we want everything now, we want everything quick. When life is everything but that, we have to understand that marriage is never 50-50. And you sort of wonder how that idea kind of got out there. I have found that if you stick with it, over the course of your entire relationship, you may have 50-50 over time. But if I look over my marriage, if I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. Somebody was always giving way more. Someone always needed a different kind of thing. You have to evolve with it. And so, yeah, there were times when I felt like I was 70% in and he was doing 30%. Because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look. I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. Those are the natural compromises that are required, and I feel bad when I see young people giving up on their relationships because there are periods of hard, there are periods of discomfort. So I think it's important for us to be honest in those conversations, not to glamorize what a partnership feels like, because then young people quit too soon. They quit before they've really, played out the full scenario.
Wonderful. Let me replay that again. Before I replay it again, let me say this.
Idealized your marriage. They sit
Stop there for a second. Before I replay it, let me say this. No lies have been told on what she had to say. None. Marriage is work. Sacrifices must be made. In order to follow dreams, men or women, but certainly women, have to fall to the background for a man to succeed. Because if a marriage is supposed to succeed, a man, if you are a hypergamous woman, as most are, especially in her capacity as a career woman, want her man to earn as much, if not more, than they do. And if it takes a man to, it takes a woman to hold back on her career and allow a man to guide a family and guide his career to a higher, to allow their family a higher level of living, uh, a better grasp of things in terms of the world, in terms of putting their family first, in terms of creating that nuclear family that everybody wants, and in which the man is the head and women follow along, then that must what must be done, ladies and gentlemen. That's what must be done. Now again, as she said, marriage isn't 50-50. People have to certain people have to take a back seat so that someone else could drive. In this instance, she had to take a back seat in order for Barack to forward his political career. In order for him to be a president, he could not have his wife continue her practice of law and holding her positions with those different companies. As I said, they had to work part-time in order for her children to be looked after properly, and in order for that campaign to move as it should. See, a lot of modern women don't get that. A lot of modern women think that, for lack of a better word, that they should be the forefront, or there should be a partnership. And we need to adjust that. We need to change that. We need to change that idea. And not only that, she's also said that, you know what, there has to be a degree of patience within a relationship so that it can work to its fullest capacity. You can't have a disposable mindset when it comes to marriage. It is work, as she said. It is work. It is sacrifice. It is putting others first so that the family grows together. And usually it has to be the female, because for the most part, the man is seen as the head of any successful marriage. When a woman has to guide a marriage, usually it's the case that marriages don't succeed as well as they should. They don't. They usually don't respect the man, and eventually she checks out and a marriage dissipates. And she realized that in order for this plan to work, Michelle, that is, had to take a step back from her practice, from her board memberships, and put the family first while Barack pursued his dreams. And now what? Now look. They're considered one of the first families in the United States because Michelle made that sacrifice. Let's play this thing again so that everybody can let that seep in and understand.
And look at it, but you have always been very clear-eyed, very honest that marriage takes work. Mm-hmm. It takes daily work, and that it is not always glamorous, and you have had some very unique strains, but there's also the strains that any of us who are in a relationship or married face, whether it be whose career goes first or who takes on the childcare labor. Is there one piece of advice that you would give for people who are thinking about how you put in that work for a partnership that's lasted that long?
Yeah, it's not really one piece of advice. To me, it's a philosophy. It's an outlook. In this age of, we want everything now, we want everything quick. When life is everything but that, we have to understand that marriage is never 50-50. And you sort of wonder how that idea kind of got out there. I have found that if you stick with it, over the course of your entire relationship, you may have 50-50 over time. But
Stop that for a second. Right there. See, what a lot of modern women don't get is the fact that, especially in our community and the African diaspora, not only in North America, but around the world, in the developed world, is the example she had of being in a two-parent household. Her dad was a campaigner and worked for a utility in Chicago. Her mother was a secretary. However, they always... she came from a tradition where the father went to work. The mother, Michelle's mother, hung back and took care of family and made sure that everything at home was right. And she relies on that background in order to push forth the narrative, push forth the perspective that marriage is indeed work. Marriage is something that involves sacrifice. And she sacrificed herself because she saw her mother sacrifice herself in order for her family to grow and for her to go to college and for her to be a Harvard grad and a Princeton grad and for her to be in the career she wants to be in. Because she came from structure, ladies. Modern women. She came from structure. Something that, let me say this, Barack never had structure himself. So she helped structuralize Barack. Because, listen, Barack, as much of a genius as he was, came from a nomadic background, where different people were in and out of his life, and he was a bit of a rebel himself. She helped stabilize Barack, if you can believe it. She helped solidify his goals, his values, his focus, while allowing him to move forward with his legal and his political career. Oh yeah, she was listen, let it be said, Michelle was the foundation of that family. Oh yes. She came from the two-parent household. She was that foundation that guided Barack to better things. Yet, in order to do that, she had to make some sacrifices for herself. But she was totally with that because she came from such a background, being in a two-parent household and watching her mother do the same thing. And did it work out for the worse? No, it worked out for the even better. But a lot of women want to give up that way because they don't want to lose the power struggle that is between themselves and their men. Which is sad, really. But remember, Michelle was of that mindset at first, but she slowly changed that once the right man came to play. And this is where I have to say to the ladies, once that right man comes into your life, I'm not saying to submit to any man. Don't submit to any man. Submit to the man who will lead you to greater things. Don't just submit to any man. No. Once he shows you and that he has a plan that will work for the greater good, submit to him. But she understood that. But a lot of our women don't. A lot of feminists won't. Just saying. But let's continue.
If I look over my marriage, if I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. Somebody was always giving way more. Someone always needed a different kind of thing. You have to evolve with it. And so, yeah, there were times when I felt like I was 70% in and he was doing 30%. Because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look. I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. Those are the natural compromises that are required, and I feel bad when I see young people giving up on their relationships because there are periods of hard, there are periods of discomfort. So I think it's important for us to be honest in those conversations, not to glamorize what a partnership feels like, because then young people quit too soon. They quit before they've really, played out the full scenario.
Let's hear what she said again. Hear what she said again on that. She said, in order for her family to look the way she wanted it to look, the way she wanted it to look, she knew she had to make the sacrifice. Meaning, she had to hold back on her career in order to put family first. She had to hold back on her career to put family first. And that involved, in order to make her family the way she wanted it to be, a family of structure, a family of values, a family of wholesomeness, a family of religion, because she was a devout Christian herself, and a family where the man was the head and the woman the neck. Because she found a man who could move herself and her eventual family forward. And she knew that once she found that man, she had to make some sacrifice. She had to make some changes, people. Now, a lot of modern women, a lot of feminists, a lot of career women won't do that. Or they'll do that when it's too late. Do that when it's way too late. Luckily, she did that just in time to have her two kids, Malia and Sasha. She did that just in time. Because she was in that danger zone as the Godfather, which she was in there. She was right there. She had her kids at 34 and 37. IVF, to be fair. But she had them. And you know what she did? She set forth her plan. A plan that she took from her parents. And a plan that she implemented in her life. Because remember, she's the one who guided Barack on the straight and narrow. Because Barack was a rebel. Believe me, he was a rebel. As smart as he was, because he was a Rhodes Scholar, he was a damn near genius. But he was a rebel because he came from a nomadic, single mother household. She did. He did. But Michelle brought that structure back. And for her saying that, she's well within her rights to do it. And guess what? She has a successful marriage. She's been married, 30 years now? Going on 30 years? How many modern women have their marriages going on 30 years? How many? With divorce rates at half of the married couples. Married couples. Half ending up in divorce. Even if Barack never had the success he did, this marriage would still be the same, even without the notoriety, even with outside of the limelight. It would stay the same. I totally believe that. Because the structure was there. The foundations were sound. And upon it, she built an impeccable family. Impeccable. But as she said, the womanist, feminist ideas had to hang in the background. As much as she pushed for it, because she was a modern woman for a time, she was, before she had those kids. Then things changed. When she realized she needed a family, and this is again to lead her to greater glory. In a Christian household, whether you are a believer in Christianity or religion in and of itself or not. But it helps, it does. But let's hear from my girl Reva here, and she's going to go on to explain. Now, we've already heard this once or twice already, so I'm going to let her break into the other side. What modern women have to say about this totally respectable and innocuous comment.
I've had to, because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look, I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal.
Never
Never
here.
putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. About marriage, I was like, you have to be prepared to have. They quit before they've really, played out the full.
Her trying to eat her up. It could never be me. Periods unhappy. I could never. And ironically, they proved her entire point. A lot of these modern women, these younger generations, these women who are trying to fight against being the woman that their mother was, that their grandmother was, a lot of these women, okay, and don't get it twisted, because modern women doesn't come in a certain age bracket. You got some women with kids that are very grown that have this exact mentality, right? They are not suitable for marriage. They good to sneaky link. They good for the hookup. They good for fun, for a good time. They're good to maybe date, okay, here and there. But they are not suitable for marriage. And over and over and over again, they prove that. How can this woman who has been married for I don't even know how many years?
30 years. 30 years.
Come and speak about marriage, and y'all are trying to drag her all because you are not equipped with the tools to stay with somebody for longer than a couple months.
Stop it there. That is the ultimate $60 million question. What are these modern women doing questioning a successful marriage? A marriage that they want. A woman who's done it well. In the greatest spotlight known to man, that is the presidency of the United States. Keeping her kids out of trouble, keeping her family intact, keeping her reputation stellar and impeccable. These modern women and feminists want to come after her for that. For telling them how it is and telling it like it is. They want to come after her. They want to drag her, as Reva was saying. Shout out to Reva. Go subscribe to her. She's put out some good some content on modern women in and of itself. What are they doing? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me that they want to question a woman with a 30-year marriage track record? I'll tell you why they want to do it. Because they don't want to do the work. In fact, they don't want to play their role. They don't want to play the background. They want to play the foreground at all times and run things. Sorry, marriages of 30 years don't run with the woman at the head. With the woman in the lead. Because guess what? Women in the lead don't respect the men who are their men. They don't respect cucks. They don't respect beta men. They want a man to lead. And usually women resent those men, and those marriages usually end. She's literally telling you, if read between the lines, ladies, if you're watching and listening, to the men you know. If you want a successful marriage, it can't be 50-50. Someone's going to have to sacrifice. Make sacrifices for the greater good. Make sure the family is right at home. Make sure that religion's within the household. Make sure traditions are honored. Because usually the women are the purveyors of family traditions. My mother is a purveyor of family tradition. She holds both my mother and father's families together. But women don't want that role. No. They want to be men. They want to be masculine. But remember, Rochelle was of that ilk till she realized that, you know what? The tried and the true still works. That's why she's considered a high-value woman. That's why. Because when the chips are down and questions are to be answered, and a man has asked his woman to follow his lead, she did that. Now she's one of the more recognized women in the world. Now she has the title on their many properties. Now she has the title of being a first lady. How many modern women can be first ladies? That's the question for you. How many modern women could be first ladies these days? I'll tell you what, not many, if any. Let's continue.
A couple of months, because y'all don't went through that, 3 or 4 phase. You so used to trying something new. So every couple of months, you cause a problem in your relationship with your man, so that you guys can go ahead and break up, so that you have the door or the reason to finally experience something new because you got bored.
You know what happens when women, when they check out and they 304 it, they city girls it, and they're looking for new D every 2 to 3 or 4 months? They can't pair bond. They can't stick to one man, as they say. They can't build a family. Chances are they can't. I'm not saying it's impossible, but chances are they can't. Because they're always checking, comparing, oh, he had the best deal, oh, he had the best pancakes, oh, he had the best business sense, oh, he was a better leader, or here, to a point where they pick until they pick S-H-I-T. You spell it. They pick until they pick S-H, let me rephrase that, exclamation point T. And I've seen that in countless number of ladies that I've come across. But they can't sit still. They want to take the lead. They find out they can't respect their man. They move on. They try for something new. And it's a disposable cycle that they go on. To a point where they either pick S-H exclamation T, or they end up dying alone or with kids as a single mother. Those are the choices. That's if a woman wants to lead. Instead of, as in many different races, including our own, including Michelle, our high-value woman of the week, they decide, hey, I've come from a traditional background. I see how it works. I know how marriages of 20 to 30 years work. Let me use my knowledge to put our family first and to make sure that we are successful overall. And that's what she did. But not these 3 and 4 modern women these days. Oh, hell no. Hell no! They rather put themselves first than their family first. I said it. I'll say it again. Women want to put themselves first, their careers first, than their family first. Or their future family first. Yep. They want to put themselves first, than their future family first. When those who have been raised in a 2-parent household, guess what? Oh, you get your tendencies of women who want to put their careers ahead of themselves, but guess what? Guess what? Chances are they won't. Chances are they'll realize what they see before them. And for that special guy whom they consider a high-value man, or a man of purpose, a man of goals, a man of drive, a man of vision, they'll sacrifice for the greater good. But you don't want that, right, ladies? Okay. Right, modern women? You don't want that. Okay.
You lack stability. Maybe you never seen it growing up. Okay? And so now, instead of trying to change the narrative, you just stick with it. Hold on to it. Generation after generation gonna be the same way. Loving chaos, not being stable-minded, not having a stable household, like just flipping and flopping. Based upon your feelings and how you feel. Oh, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. So I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like it. Like, that's how you guys would rather live. Unfortunately. A lot of women want the marriage. I mean, I'm sorry. No, they don't. No, they don't. A lot of women want the wedding. They want the wedding. They want to show off to their friends. They want the party. They want to be down. Okay? They want to hang out. They want to, do all these things. They want to prove that they have the bigger ring. They have the bigger, the bigger wedding party. Their color scheme was the best. They had the best, what do you call that? Honeymoon. Like, they want to prove all of that. But the marriage, baby, they don't want that. The minute that something looks like it's not how it was supposed to be when they were in the dating phase, or the minute that the marriage lifestyle that they envisioned is not going as planned, they are ready to jump ship.
Truth be told, women want the day, but they don't want the marriage. Women want the wedding day where they can show off to their friends, their family, that, hey, I got the ring, I got the man, I got all the trappings of a successful marriage. But they don't want the work. And as Michelle was saying, marriage is work. Marriage is sacrifice. Marriage is never 50-50. But modern women don't want to hear that. Modern women want to hear the fact that they're in control of the marriage, that they have their day, and they've had their pictures, and they are on Instagram, and they've had all their celebrations, but they don't want the work. They don't want the sacrifice. They don't want to put their family first, and so therefore, they'd rather check out than check in. They'd rather check out than check in. Because guess what, ladies? Men don't leave relationships. They don't. They don't. And if you say, oh, they cheat, no. Well, listen. Men exercise options if they're high-value men, but guess what? They come home to their women. They do. They do. But the minute trouble hits, they want out. They want out. The minute they have to sacrifice for their children, they want out. They want out. They'd rather not be a dutiful wife. They'd rather be a pain in a lot of backsides. You know what? Men, for the most part, aren't falling for the okie dokie anymore. That's why you're finding a lot harder to find a man these days. And a lot of these ladies are running to sperm banks, and guess what? The donors aren't coming anymore. Especially in the African diaspora community, especially in the developed world. Sperm is low. Because they realize that's all that men are there for. They're there for, he's a sperm donor and that's it. They want to check out. Hell, we just saw that with Rochelle Carey the other day. 51-year-old news reporter. Remember her? Remember we focused on her? She moved back home. She gave up her career because she couldn't find a man. She could have been that Michelle Obama, but she didn't want to she put her career first, right? She put her career first. And where does that have her end up? At her parents' house, minding a child. That she couldn't take care of her on her own. We're going to solely take a break here on Talk Live. We're going to continue on YouTube. And we're going to be back in just a second. So stay with us. and we'll be back soon. I gotta get this thing checked. But anyways, I'll be back in a minute, guys. So hold on. But we're gonna continue on YouTube right here. So sit tight.
I've even talked about this before. Some people are unhappy for a couple years. Just as Michelle Obama said, sometimes they're just not happy, miserable. But they are committed to the duty of marriage. They are committed to the principles, to the structure. I'm gonna be happy, but I'm gonna figure it out. So many people have come across, have come up. We saw it with Tia, okay? And they're just like, well, I just deserve to be happy. Everyone deserves to be happy, and so I just want to be happy. And me and I and me and I. And whenever you got married, it was never just about you, baby. It was not.
Welcome back to Talkdtalklive, live on IG and YouTube. We are continuing the discussion of Michelle Obama being our High Value Woman of the Week. And we are still on Riva TV and explaining how modern women are indeed never to Michelle Obama's level. And she just gave the example of Tia Mowry. Now, everybody knows that, there's a tendency, especially if you're a woman who's a creative or who's involved in any sort of entertainment field, any sort of creative field. Now, you tend to be a little more self-centered. Just a bit, just a tad. It's all about I, me, and, appearances. And for Tia, for the most part, who came from a two-parent household under herself, I'd have to dive into that myself. But now Tia has given up her marriage of 10 years because the optics weren't good, and she has moved on to posting thirst traps on Instagram. A woman with children at a young and impetuous age have moved on, has now divorced her husband. I forget her husband's name. Somebody mention it in the comments, please. Has moved on to post thirst traps on Instagram. Sorry. That's why she was on a road. She could have been a high value woman. She'll never will be because, again, she thinks of herself first. She thought of her career first. She didn't like the optics. She thought things were. She was, selfish rather than selfless. And so, and you know who's also feeling the effects of that? What's her name now? Yes. Just ran out of my head just a second ago. Who's feeling the effects of that right now? Kim Kardashian. Well, we know Kim Kardashian is. Let's face facts here. But not only them, not only Kim and Kanye, but also that's right, Lala Anthony. Lala Anthony, who thought her looks could carry her through her 40s. She can always find a new man. When indeed that wasn't the case. Now she is totally reconsidering her ideas on that. But again, I'm getting off topic. I'm talking about high value women. I'm talking about Michelle Obama. We're going to get back to it right now.
It's about that other person as well. And it's also about the overall duty of the both of you. Not just you walking around like, oh, well, I feel like this, I feel like that. So, since he's not making me happy, and again, a lot of you guys can't even be happy because you don't even know within yourself what will make you happy. You have no idea. No idea.
That is an incredible point. Before she moves on, that's an incredible point. Women move with their emotions. And if it's not making you happy, if it made you happy yesterday, if it doesn't make you happy today, they want to get out of there and move on. When Michelle's telling you marriage is work, you want to move on. You don't want to work, ladies. Because again, marriage is 80% initiated by women. 90% of those women are college educated. They are the modern woman. They are the proverbial modern woman. But hey, women don't want to work these days. You know, it's ironic how women don't want to work on their marriage, but they want to work at a job, at a factory, at their career, more than they want what brings them full fulfillment. It's ironic. They'd rather work with their men. They'd rather work with their bosses. Never could understand that. Never.
Y'all are so busy watching other people's lives. They look happy. Oh, how come they look happy? They look happy. Oh, how come they look happy? They look happy. I want to be like them because they look like this. And how come we don't look like this? Comparing yourselves. Comparing your marriage. And then I love the fact that she said, and then you guys want to put a child into it. Like, that's going to change anything. Like, that's going to make anything better. How? Two of y'all can't get along. Now you're going to add a child that's needy. Now we got to see the different parenting styles. Now we got to see how you're going to move with this. Now we're going to see how you're going to operate like this. Like, how is it supposed to make anything better? And I said this before, but I really believe that a lot of women who claim that they want to be married need to get around some married folk and ask them the hard question. Hopefully those married folk around them will be honest.
Here's the thing. How many times have we seen within the last 10 to 12 years, who is it now? Within the last 10 to 12 years, because Obama's left in 2008, so to do the math, it's about 15 years ago. 15 years. Within the last 15 years. Within the last 15 years, how long have we seen people see the Barack's marriage as a goal? As a literal goal. Where they literally say, oh, Michelle and Barack Obama, goals. Hashtag goals. Marriage goals. Whatever goals. Whatever hashtag you want to put behind it. They see that as the example of marriage life. And yet, they don't want to live up to its virtues. They don't want to live up to its work ethic. Don't want to live up to the sacrifices they made. But they see that as a goal, right? They see it as a goal. They see that as the North Star of a potential marriage, of 30 years of not married bliss, because it took work, especially as Reva was saying, if you add in children to that. Needy children. Children who need examples, children need role models, children need parents. Adult parents. Are you willing to sacrifice? That's what makes her a high value woman. She was willing to sacrifice herself for her kids. Not many women are willing to do that today. Not a lot of modern women are willing to do that today. And if they do, they'd rather do it on their own than with a person who's going to bring them generational wealth, their men. Or as the wind blows, they want to end it because their happiness was at stake. No, you have a duty, ladies. Happiness is pushed to the background. Even for men, happiness is pushed to the background when it comes to kids. it's your duty to make sure they're raised right now that they're in the world. And not set them forth into society and saying, you have at it. Because that's what usually entails the privileged population we have today. Yeah, I'm going there. And most of them come from, say it with me, single mother homes. When fathers or two-parent households, father-led or two-parent households or single-father homes are usually the best thing for kids. Actually, they're considered on par with each other. A single-father home and a two-parent household, because there's structure, there's discipline, there's focus, and listen, I can go through the stats, but she's giving women the game plan, but they don't want to do the work. Beyond me, it stuns me.
Because if we want to be really, really truthful, a lot of women say that they want to be married, but a lot of them don't.
Nope.
They just don't want to feel like they failed in that aspect of their life, but a lot of them don't. And the reason why I say that is because not only are they the first ones to file, but also they believe that the whole thing about marriage is centered towards them. And systematically it is. You know, the man proposes. It's all about the bride on her day. So then they go into the marriage thinking that, again, it's all about me. Because the wedding was all about me, so is this. And it's so sad. And it's sad that, again, that a lot of these women cannot take any teaching. They can't take the teaching from nobody. If you as a man are trying to, like, how can the man lead the woman? If women can't even influence other women. Like, and then you wonder why men are looking out elsewhere. And then you wonder why men are saying, I don't know. She's going to have to show me something. So many women complain, oh, on the first date, you know, he wants to know if I'm this. He wants to know what I bring to the table. He wants to know that. Oh, he's asking too many questions. He should be. He should be. He want to know if you are an asset or if you are a liability. All of the fairy tales and, you know, we can thank the movies for that. All the fairy tales of how weddings are supposed to be and, oh, this is just how it was supposed to be and I'm supposed to feel like this all the time. That's the only thing it is movies. Because real life is not operating like that. There's ebbs and flows in everything. You might love your job, but every single time you go to work, you are not going to be in the happiest mood. You're not going to always want to be there. Sometimes you do want to go home early. It doesn't mean that you hate your job. You just want to go home. You're tired. Had enough for the day. You might be tired in your job for a couple of months, but you have no problem putting in the work in there. Some of you.
Didn't I just say that? I didn't even see this in its perpetuity, but I just said that. Women would rather sacrifice for their jobs than their men. The men that will, more often than not, bring them what they really want, which is generational wealth. But they don't want that. They want to be the shot callers. They want to be single and independent, don't need no men. That's why, as she said, men are leaving, ladies. They're moving on. This is a globalized society. If they want something, if they want a traditional woman, they will go out and find it. Michelle's a traditional woman. She's trying to teach you, but you don't want to learn from her. You don't want her high value woman leadership. You don't want that. Do you? You want to be happy. Life and marriage isn't all about happiness. It's not about endorphins going to your brain, ladies. It's about making the sacrifices for the greater good. That's what Michelle does. That's what she is in a 30-year marriage, and she is one of the more recognized women on earth. Because she put her man first. Because she couldn't get there on her own. Let that be said. She could not get there on her own. How many ladies have tried to get there on their own only to fail? I ask the question again. How many women have tried to get there on their own and failed? A whole generation. Actually, a whole 2 generations of women have done that and failed. And failed, ladies. So when you have a high-value woman like Michelle Obama tell you something, you want to back-check that? You want to drag her in the comments? On Twitter, on Instagram, or wherever your happiness lies? It's okay. It's all right. To those who want to learn will learn. To those who want the therapy will get therapy. For those who want to learn from married people, they will do that. Because they have an eye on a prize, and that is ultimate happiness, which comes from family, especially for women. They have the eyes on a prize. See, if you aren't willing to sacrifice, ladies, there's your wine, there's your dog, there's your career. Now die alone. Again, there's your wine, your dog, your career. And remember, dog and cat food and wine shares in that are going up. Why? Because there are more single ladies out there these days. They're going up. Because by 2035, 45% of women will be single and childless. But that's what you wanted, right? Your happiness.
But to the most valuable relationship in your life, you don't want to put any work in. You want it to come as easy as pie. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I want to play this one more time because I want you guys to hear everything she said because I love everything that she had to say. So,
let's move on a little bit further in the thing because we've already played for ourselves here.
They only have to give 10% and he gives the 90%. And if he is lacking on his 90%, he got to figure it out because they're so selfish. Compromise. They're looking at her like, what? That's why they were dragging her on Twitter. They're like, what are you talking about? Sis, it could never be me. And you're right, it won't be. You are so right. It will not be you.
Because of the choices that I make.
It will not be you because, ladies, here's the thing. Men will find their level somewhere else. They will move on and find their level elsewhere. Either on these shores or not. Either inside their race or outside of it. Because believe me, men aren't stopping at black anymore. Even though we're, most races are race loyal. But if they can't find it within the race, they're going to move on. They're just going to move on. Especially these days. Especially these days. Especially with the Zennials. They ain't playing no more. They are not playing. Millennials started it, but Zennials are really into it now. So my black woman, why aren't you taking cues from a woman with a 30-year marriage, successful marriage. I don't know why. 30-year marriage. You don't want to take cues from her. Because she ain't speaking your language. She ain't giving you your happiness. She ain't giving you your freedom. Listen, you can be as free as a bird as you want. Believe me. There are condos available. There are prescription drugs available. And there's a career that won't go home with, well, it'll go home with you at night, but it ain't going to keep you warm at night. Hell no. Ooh, hell no. Hell no. But hey, that's what you want, right? Hey, modern women, hey, that's what you want, right? Feminists, that's what you want, right? Okay. That's fair. Okay.
In the terms of how I wanted our family to look, I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the
What
brake.
she say?
Oh yeah, we already know, baby. She took her career off the gas pedal.
Everything is not, you kind of get bored and it's not showing you what you want to see. You go to TikTok and you scroll fast. If somebody doesn't make you happy on TikTok in 5 to 10 seconds, think about this where we're at right now. In 5 to 10 seconds, if somebody doesn't make you, it's not satisfying you on TikTok, you scroll. Right? You're watching TV shows on Netflix, on Hulu, and the whole series is there because you don't have time or the patience for commercials anymore. Think about it. So we're in this time of like self-pleasure. And because of that, if something is not pleasing to you, you feel like, I'm just going to go get another one. I'm just going to do this another time. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And for the majority of people, you spend most of your time trying to replace what you already had. Because you think that you're going to be lucky enough to get that again. And more times than not, you will not be.
Let me say this, people. And I'll tell this to, I'm telling this to my nephews these days. I'm telling you. The ladies that they have in their lives right now, stick with them. Don't move from them. No. Don't do it. Don't do it unless you have ample reason to leave. Don't do it. Even though it is young love, let's face facts. But if it works, stick with it. Because usually the first few relationships are the ones that last. Especially if you haven't been through your 304 / whole face. As so many of our young women have. And they're leading to unhealthy roles. But again, let's get back to the point. Michelle's telling you guys the truth. Michelle, mom, is a high value woman. Why? Let's break it down. Let's break it down. Just for you and me. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back to myself. Let's break it down. I thank you, Reva, for her commentary. Please go and like and subscribe her. She is doing outstanding work in the YouTube space. Please go and like and subscribe her. RIVAH TV, doing wonderful work. She's climbing the charts because she's telling the truth. She's speaking truth to power. Feminist power, whatever that is. Anyway, so here's the thing. Let me just go back to myself. Let's break it down because we're at 9:28 here. Let's break it down quick. We've already done an hour and a half. Thank you for joining me in Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to start putting up our shorts this week. We're going to do that. We're going to do it. And because it needs to be done. And I want to get the message spread across. So you're going to see it on YouTube and Instagram spaces and other spaces that are available. But those are the two primaries. But anyways, actually Facebook too. We got Facebook as well. But here's the thing. What makes Michelle Obama a high value woman? Number one, she's fit. She's always been fit. She's always kept herself in good shape. Even with 2 kids, she's always advocated for healthy living, for clean, organic foods, and for fitness. She had the campaign Let's Move while she was in the White House. She's always pushed for it. Shoot. Where's that picture I had of Michelle? This is after 2 kids, people. This is after 2 kids. Where'd she go? There she is. There she is. I mean, we got her in her looking as lovely as ever, but I'm just transitioning out of there for a second. For a moment. Yes. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. We have a nice one. Boom. That's excellent. Let's use that. Let's use that. Open image, please, and thank you. Let's go there. Yes. There she is. Fit as a fiddle. Even into her 50s. Going on 60. I'm going to my browser here. Yes. Sorry about that. Fit as a fiddle, even into her 60s. She's still fit. She's fantastic. She has always kept herself in fine form. Always. Even with 2 kids. Excuse, ladies? I don't know. Well, yeah, there you go. The only excuse is you. But anyways, I leave it. I digress. She is feminine. Yes, she always keeps her femininity. She always has. She always has kept her femininity, even in the White House or not. You don't see her acting masculine anywhere. Nowhere. She's always kept her femininity because she's come from a lineage of feminine women. So she's always been feminine, ladies. Never bullish. Never, even though she put for, although she's very much an advocate for LGBTQ2 plus rights, 2Q plus, I don't know what that is, for the pink alternative, for the alphabet gang. She's always pushed for LGBTQ2S rights. But even so, she has always remained a woman. A CIS woman, high value woman. Always remains so. She's friendly. She's always been known to be very, very friendly. I do not hear one bad word about her in any gossip column. She's kept her reputation pristine wherever she's gone. And then, of course, the 2 highest hurdles outside of fitness: cooperation and submission. She submitted to her man when her man needed her to. In his political career, in the run to the White House. Always put him first. Because she knew she was the high value man and he was going to bring that family to greatness. And he did. And also, she was cooperative. She was always cooperative. She stayed under the greatest scrutinized eye in the world for 8 years and kept herself and her family reputation impeccably clean. Impeccably clean. She's never let down on things. I mean, you could have, imagine if those kids got out of line. Imagine if Malia and Sasha got out of line while in office. You wouldn't hear the end of it. Because she knew she had a race and the world watching. And believe me, the knives were out. Out! And she came through with flying colors. So, again, high value woman all the way around. Definitely our high value woman of the week. But let me play this. This is what happens when you are a high value woman of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make sure I got all my stuff here. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Here it is. This is the Obama farewell speech in 2016. The year he left office. After 8 great years as president, Barack realized he had a high value woman on his hands. He realized that from the start he had it. And he had to pay tribute to her. So I'm going to let Barack have the closing words on this issue. And let him explain what it meant for her to be a high value woman.
Maybe you still can't believe we pulled this whole thing off. Let me tell you, you're not the only ones. Michelle? Michelle LaVaughn Robinson, girl of the South Side. For the past 25 years, you have not only been my wife and mother of my children, you have been my best friend. You took on a role you didn't ask for, and you made it your own, with grace and with grit and with style and good humor. You made the White House a place that belongs to everybody. And the new generation sets its sights higher because it has you as a role model. So you have made me proud, and you have made the country proud. Malia and Sasha, under the strangest of circumstances, you have become 2 amazing young women. You are smart and you are beautiful, but more importantly, you are kind and you are thoughtful and you are full of passion. And you wore the burden of years in the spotlight so easily. Of all that I have done in my life, I am most proud to be your dad.
That, my friends, is the reward of being a high value woman. Being recognized as such by the public at large. Be it in the highest of offices to the most ordinary of circumstances. You are recognized as such. And whether people say it or not, whether you consider your happiness as high or not, you are recognized as such. Not only by the public at large, but by your family, as it should be. None of what Barack did in his presidency could be possible without Michelle. And the sacrifices she made for the greater good. Let that be known. Nothing that made Barack a success ever sees the light of day without the efforts of Michelle Obama. And he recognizes such. He did so. He couldn't hold back the tears with the amount of efforts put in by this high-value woman that is Michelle Obama. Not only in his life, but in his children's lives. Making them as pristine as they are. It goes back to saying, as Michelle said in that 2-minute blurb, in order for her to have the family she wanted, sacrifices had to be made. Marriage couldn't be 50-50. She had to put family first. She had to put her children first. And that doesn't appease your happiness or your joy or your self-fulfillment. It's called being selfless. And a lot of modern women don't have that anymore. They're very selfish, but not selfless. And so we honor Michelle Obama today as our high-value woman of the week. Let me just play that one more time. Man, look. The man himself put it right. He had to take time out. He had to take time out to recognize the beauty, the sacrifice, the elegance, the grace, the intelligence, the sheer, utter brilliance of Michelle. And her high-value womanhood. She had to recognize it. You want to hear it again?
Michelle LaVaughn Robinson, girl of the South Side. For the past 25 years, you have not only been my wife and mother of my children, you have been my best friend. You took on a role you didn't ask for, and you made it your own, with grace and with grit and with style and good humor.
Stop it for a second. Those aren't tears of sadness. Those are tears of joy. He cannot believe Barack cannot believe he's ended up with a woman this brilliant. He can't believe it. Hell, most men wouldn't believe it. Most men would be kissing the ground their woman walks on if they were Michelle. Because Michelle made Barack into the man he is today. Simply put. I wonder how many modern women can make their men into men they can be proud of. Or have the patience, the temerity, the sacrifice to do so. I ask you, can you be a Michelle Obama? Can you ladies out there strive to be Michelle Obama? Or is that just a goal that's there for people's eyes but not in your actions?
You made the White House a place that belongs to everybody. And the new generation sets its sights higher because it has you as a role model. So you have made me proud, and you have made the country proud.
Leave it there, people. When you modern women can start making yourselves, your families, your country, your people proud, you'll be a high value woman then. That's when you'll be a high value woman. Not before and not after. That's when you'll be a high value woman. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live tonight. We're going to get out of here. And we throw praises to our high value woman of the week, Michelle Obama. Let me get back to this thing here. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We're going to be back live tomorrow. Yeah, we can do tomorrow. We'll get back live tomorrow with another show. And I hope you join me then. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live tonight, live on IG and YouTube, sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, people. And we're going to get there sooner rather than later, believe me. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to do some work before my work week begins, as most Canadians' work week begins. Happy Family Day. That's for you. That's for my family of viewers. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to get out of here on the Instagram feed. And again, we'll have a short on Michelle Obama coming up this week. And yes, looking forward to that and a few other things to come as well. So thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend we're back again here in our humble abode. And congrats to our Woman of the Week, High Value Woman of the Week, Michelle Obama. And we'll leave it there. And good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Good night. And to my YouTube viewers, thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. More changes to come. More avenues in which to do it. And we are, going to get out of here tonight. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. And we'll speak to you soon. And congrats to Michelle Obama, like she needs any congratulations. She's already a superstar in her own right as being our